Thank you, friends. Every 4 years, America elects policy. America does not elect science. Science stands on its own merit. But that's not too well understood in the Trump-Musk administration. And the problems that we have today is that science is not being well heard by people who choose to be ignorant of science. So let me go back in a little bit of history. I was at NOAA for quite some time, over 40 years. The proudest day for me was being commissioned as an ensign in the NOAA Corps in 1981. The second proudest day of my NOAA career was being fired from the acting chief scientist job by Donald Trump because I stood up for scientific integrity where politics would not trump true science. So for our NOAA friends in these buildings, the people who are working tirelessly, and in this building in particular, 24 hours a day, where the headquarters of the National Weather Service is, we're over here where the headquarters of our satellite service is, we're 2 buildings away where the headquarters of our National Marine Fisheries Service. Sarah, where did you go, dear? God bless you, thanks for the work you do. And where the Ocean Service is, and where the Oceans and Atmospheric Research Centers are, right up the street here. This is where it all is. This is where NOAA's headquarters is. We're lucky to have Jamie Raskin as our congressman here in this room. No stronger voice could we have and no better resourced voice intellectually. Now that's a concept, having intellectually empowered people in our government. So Jamie Raskin's voice as a constitutional law professor really has the angle on what we need to be doing here. So I ask you to continue to support him in the work that he's doing. So when I was in my NOAA job, my last NOAA job, which was the assistant administrator for research, I told the people there and every other NOAA employee that I wear your jersey, I am your fan, and here it is. And we all are wearing a NOAA jersey today and every day to keep supporting the employees. I got 2 friends here who just happen to be here. My friend Dan Basta, who is the director of the National Marine Sanctuaries Program. Dan built that program. My friend Olaf Armour, they just happen to be here. God bless, I'm just glad they're here. Olaf Armour, who was an attorney for NOAA for decades and really brought the protection of historic underwater cultural heritage into the international forum. Those are the kinds of things that NOAA does. NOAA has been a leader internationally in weather, and therefore the World Meteorological Organization does what NOAA does. Weather Ready Nation, that came from NOAA. That's now an international enterprise. That's now an international activity. The Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, I was the representative there for 11 years. Every advancement that's gone on internationally in global ocean science came out of here. Came out of the United States, and it came out of that agency that's responsible for integrated ocean science all around, and that's NOAA. If I look further at international bodies, the International Hydrographic Organization, NOAA helped to sponsor that, to start that, or actually NOAA's predecessors of the Coast Survey, but it came from the United States. And when the United States surrenders its leadership in science, you wind up losing what some people would be looking to. First of all, it's our prestige, but the economy. 50% of the United States gain and growth and economic welfare has come from scientific advancements. And NOAA has been responsible for so much of that. So let me go back to the origins of NOAA. In 1970, the president that you wouldn't have expected to do this was Richard Nixon, and he signed NOAA into existence. What was that purpose? NOAA was purposely put together to bring all ocean agencies under one roof and to look at 3 principal things. 1 was weather, 2 was marine resources and the fisheries service, but number 3 was to study the air and oceanic interaction, the atmospheric and oceanic interaction. That was the charge to NOAA. Go do this. So NOAA built ships, built airplanes, built satellites, recruited scientists, atmospheric chemists, physical oceanographers, built buoy systems, autonomous equipment, models to take the science and the understanding of that science that was generated on our laboratories so that we could then project to the future. And despite what people will tell you, those projections have been accurate. If anything, we have underestimated some of the human-caused changes to this world. But then from NOAA's answering that question over decades, what is the interaction between the atmosphere and the ocean? That is climate. We didn't set out to study or understand climate. We set out to understand that interaction. We know what it is today. And people are going to try and tell you that it's not well-founded. Well, here's the gift. ExxonMobil and other energy companies, oil companies, power companies, their own scientists 30, 40, 50 years ago came to the same conclusions that our scientists have come to 30, 40 years ago. And it's the hell that we're living today. And that's irresponsible to deny it. It's ignorant to support those denials, but we've got a president who's either too dumb to understand that, or his financial interests are too compelling to want to see a change in the way that we energize our nation. So before we pull the plug, consider that everything you're wearing, everything that's in your house, take 10% off of that and realize that that 90% of stuff came through commercial ships that are delivered safely through American ports and harbors because NOAA has accurate nautical charts that are world-class, world standard. And NOAA measures the tides and the currents so that the pilots that bring these ships into port can do so safely and not be disrupted by that dynamic of the ocean. That our National Marine Fisheries Service is continuing to maintain global leadership as one of the only countries that has sustainable fish in our harvesting regime, not overfished, protecting marine mammals, the Marine Sanctuary Program that protects underwater cultural heritage and underwater special areas in our United States. That's John Muir and Teddy Roosevelt all over again, but for the underwater world. We have, in the satellite world, we have the satellites that surveil planet Earth and give us the weather every day. And when you look on your phone and you look at the satellite image or the radar image, which NOAA has built and NOAA has delivered and NOAA provides for free for the $10 billion weather aftermarket industry, we already have private sector involved in this. That's done by the folks in these buildings and the people out in the field. The data that we have as a repository, that data, go tell Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, who probably doesn't know what he's got in this agency. No, very few secretaries have. I've had secretaries tell me, I didn't know I had the Weather Service. I didn't know I had a fleet of ships. I didn't know I had an air crew. Well, guess what? You do, and you're the public steward of it. But Lutnick and his crew have made money on the data that NOAA has curated, collected, analyzed, and produced because the entire futures market is based on NOAA data. For the economic outlook based on agriculture, based on transportation costs, based on your mortgage rates. The finance industry is dependent upon everything that NOAA does. There are so many layers to this organization that people don't understand. All right, we've got to lock arms and we've got to do something productive going on here rather than listen to me. But just keep wearing that jersey, folks. Keep supporting these people. You depend on them, and they depend on you. And thank you, Jamie Raskin. We depend on you too. Thank you all very much.